Alrighty. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness. The next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand. Well, there she is. God damn. What's with this stiff silence? In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit, you radiate a glow of complete sincerity. Okay, the judge is already smitten, so this is going to be an uphill battle, isn't it? I can't believe he actually said that! And so is Winston. Now then, witness, could you please state your full name? Don't worry, sweetie, there's no need to be nervous. If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right down to size. And I'll bash them with my gavel. I love how they look straight at me when they say that. Thank you for calming my nerves. You're all so nice. I almost feel right at home. Not at all. It was nothing. If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation? My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I am a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence. The honor's all mine! No, the honor's all mine! Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Oh, God. Sir? Is there something I can help you with? You just go and say whatever's on your mind. I'm sure there must be some kind of mistake. Feeny wouldn't kill anyone, I just know it. Feeny. Feeny? Are you oh my goodness. Yes, I can see why you'd say that. She's gonna be a tough witness, alright. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please. I had been planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then, suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Feeny noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students and they called the authorities. I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong. Alright, so is that it? Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it's my job to discover the truth. Please tell us the truth. But I would never. That's more than enough witness. I won't allow this to continue. What do you mean by that? Please, just let me proceed with my cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case with a bunch of paper-thin lies. You haven't changed a bit. Oh. Do you two know each other? Mia Fey. Do they know each other? What's this? So you two are acquainted? Again, is this why Mia took on the case? Yes, we've met before, once. Interesting. In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours. It's good to see you again, Madam Fey. Madam? No one's grandma yet, girlie. Planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. They were talking behind the building. Dougie got all wobbly and collapsed. Are you saying the victim just collapsed on his own? Yes. In other words, the defendant never touched the victim. Is that right? I was watching the whole time. Feeny never did a thing to Dougie. If I press her for no good reason, I know the judge will get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony? Should I... Is there a contradiction, I think? Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we? I would never... Miss Fey, I will not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defendant is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting... Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job. Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did in fact push the victim. I don't know. I hope this isn't giving ammo to the prosecution. What? There's no need to try and cover for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth. There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything you saw. Yes, Your Honor, I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. You didn't see it? Well, I saw the moment when Dougie fell to the ground. And at that time, there was only the two of them at the scene. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and the victim, Doug Swallow. Yes, that's right. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear anything unusual either. Oh? So then what did it look like they were doing to you? I thought they were having a nice, friendly afternoon conversation. Oh, give me a break. That's why I really wasn't watching them all that closely. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge. Oh, I like the sound of that. Mr. Judge. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. I went to find some other students and they called the authorities. It didn't look like they were fighting. I didn't hear anything unusual. Then what about that loud sound? You say you didn't hear anything unusual. Is that correct? Yes, that's why I was very relaxed looking at the scenery around me. That sexy hair flip. That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise. He said that? If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well? Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable. But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression. May I have a moment to answer? By all means. I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music at the time. Oh, isn't that convenient? Headphones, you mean that both of your ears were covered? The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. Don't bring the god of thunder into this. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder. So I put my headphones on to block it out. Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all. Wait a sec, Mia. That testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case. Yes, there was lightning. Your Honor, there's a problem with the witness's testimony. What do you mean? Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct? You're gonna argue he was struck by lightning. And that was what caused the electrocution. Yes, what about it? Well, lightning's actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, am I correct? Well, that's a duh. Now's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Fey. Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning? I must admit the thought had not occurred to me. Just what kind of thoughts what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyway? That is the eternal question, isn't it? Given how scatterbrained we know this judge to be by now. This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt. It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental? Alright, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that up. Now what, Winston? I'm hurt you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Fey. Huh? I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution's done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on the day of that location. What? What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case. And I admit, I guess we pointed that out earlier. Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence? This affidavit. And who's this affidavit from? The pharmacology students who are conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day. Because of the severed cable, right? Was it a blackout? All the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor. So you're saying the equipment lost power because... Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m., which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report. Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future. I see. Apparently the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break. Well, that doesn't sound very safe. However, there's one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct? Well, I suppose you could say that. Or maybe... Or could wind could have knocked it over? Conceivably. Miss Fey, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable? Your Honor? I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion. Well then, let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break? What is it that... Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony. The defendant's testimony? He said after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Was that the sound of the cable breaking then? Now, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct? Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that the lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline? In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage. Did he push him into one of the poles, and that caused it to break? Yes, the prosecution also came to the same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted. I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne. What's that supposed to mean? Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right, the victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break. Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into that far pole, yeah, how did he make his way up here? Then he couldn't have been electrocuted by this severed cable in the foreground here. In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim. Order in the court. Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them. It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant... Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madame Attorney's explanation... She said some things that are a little different than I remember them. What the? Oh, jeez. What's she got now? Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge? Of course it's alright. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony. They are eaten out of her hand. This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. Oh boy. The truth is, Feeny pushed him twice. The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then, Dougie tried his best to run away from him. But Feeny caught up and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away. And that's what the defendant pushed him for the second time. I'm so sorry, Feeny, but I just have to tell the truth. Are you now? Or are you throwing him under the bus? Am I doing the right thing, Mr. Judge? Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Miss Hawthorne, previously in your testimony, you said the following. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. I know. I'm sorry. I wanted to protect Feeny. So that's why you basically lied to the court? I was a bad girl, I know. Mr. Judge? Yes? Would you please forgive little old me? Oh boy. Of course he won't! What you did is called perjury. Oh, come on now, it's just a little old white lie. Oh my goodness. We'll forget it this time, but please be more careful from now on, alright? Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Judge. Not at all. The judge had better be more careful himself. A dark alley's friendlier than that girl. Yes, and that gets an achievement. Beware, Your Honor. The first time was into the electrical cable. That's when the cable broke. He tried his best to run away. So let me get this straight. You were happily listening to music on your headphones while you watched the scene unfold. Miss Fay, I'll have to ask you to stop badgering the witness. I wasn't happy. I was so scared I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on. Cheer them on? What do you mean by that? Well, I wish the best for them both, and that they would each give the fight their all. Really? That's very sweet of you to be so supportive. Ed, what happened after that? But Feeny caught up and crashed into him from behind. That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also prints found on the back of his leather jacket? Well, no, there weren't. Madam Fay, may I suggest you listen a bit more carefully? I said that he crashed into him from behind, right? My Feeny wouldn't leave any prints behind in that case, would he? The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute. Did you actually witness the moment the victim was electrocuted? I'm sorry, I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away. That's understandable. Yes, indeed. It would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold. If I don't figure out the contradiction here, it's all over. She didn't have much time to come up with her lies, so this is my best chance. There must be a hole in her testimony somewhere. Think, Mia. And I think I see it. The cable snapping and being electrocuted occurred in less than a minute. Now, okay, where is that? Okay, the cable snapping happened at 2:55. And what was his... Where is his watch stopped at? What is that? 3:05. That's a 10-minute time gap. That is far more than 1 minute. That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand. You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture? Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeny likes to take for his cold. It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m. Yes, and your point is, Miss Fay? My point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered that power outage due to the cable snapping? Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer's clear. It was 2:55 p... Whoa! Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? What exactly happened during this 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval that the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow. Order! Order in the court! What? This is nonsense! The real murderer? Even you can't deny the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for. Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it? There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene. Was there a window of opportunity for the real killer? Miss Fay, is the defense ready to indict someone as this real killer? It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor. We're ready. Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Fay. Now then, let's have it. Who is the real killer? It can only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne. How can you... The defense is grasping at straws. 10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? See the newspaper one more time? Yeah. Are you talking about this? Very little information is being disclosed at this time, since the victim of yesterday's incident in the district courthouse cafeteria is said to have been a lawyer. However, police are questioning the 19-year-old female college student who was sitting with the victim. Was that it? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe that you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you. Order! Order! Miss Faye! Well, I mean, why... That's... Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting that day. However... Oh, cool. I tried to... Oh, really? I tried to find a voice clip for Chiaki as well with one of my notifications here on Streamlabs OBS, but I don't know if it's working properly or not. I don't think it's ever actually played during the during any of the notifications I've gotten. After Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. Oh. How can you say something so mean? Madam Faye, I didn't do anything. Oh, that was Phoenix with the hold it. Yes, you're right about that. I haven't tried going in there yet. Your Honor, please, I have something to say. You? What is it? Please strike everything the defense just said now from the record. What the? Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Faye. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that. Mr. Wright, get back in your seat. Bailiff, grab that man. Leave my Dolly alone. Oh, dear. That boy. He's gotten himself in way over his head. Oh. Grossberg's back. Mr. Grossberg, you're back. It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping. Oh. This could be important. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for. What's it say? Incident overview. Location, District Courthouse Cafeteria, August 27th at 4 p.m. Victim, Diego Armando, age 28, occupation lawyer. Suspect, Dahlia Hawthorne. Armando ingested poison while interviewing the suspect regarding another case. Traces of poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity or on the suspect's person. It is unclear how the poison entered the victim's coffee cup. You better take a good look at it. I just did. It details how you came to lose your boyfriend. Boyfriend? What? What? This Diego Armando? Now, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Again, is this why Mia took such an interest in this case? Because she knew Dahlia was involved. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, really, Your Honor, May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't you worry, my dear. I have this situation well in hand. Do you now? Go right ahead. Madam Faye, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet Dougie? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright. I told you should let me handle this. Sorry, please go ahead. How can you say that? I am absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for poor little me to bear. Oh, I believe the girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be. The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. It must. "8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this meeting. And then, that same day, the two of them accidentally met." Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Further testimony? What about? About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What could that possibly have to do with this case? The witness claims she has no reason to frame the defendant. Am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests she in fact had a very good reason. Very well then. The court grants the defense's request. Young lady, will you mind staying on for just a bit longer? Of course not, Mr. Judge. Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh boy. I first met my darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. I've been going out ever since that fateful day. We're so lovey-wovey, we literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think. That was... Mr. Wright, do that again and you'll be held in contempt of court. And now we enter the final act of our little drama. As we used to say in the days of my youth, go get her! "8 months ago. So until that time, you had been dating Doug Swallow. Yes, I'm a real fool, I know. Letting my emotions change so quickly, I am ashamed of myself. No, not at all. Look at me, I am infamous for changing my mind. Yes, we know. My critics have even taken to calling me Judge Fickle. Maybe you should look for a different line of work. Despite that, however, he always hands down the correct verdict. That's why some people also call him the Great Judge Eenie. I don't think anybody calls him that. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room. The courthouse reading room. Strange place to meet the love of your life. That's not true, Madam Faye. After all, Feeny was Feeney was not only an art student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in a courthouse reading room? This line of questioning is a waste of time and has nothing to do with our murder case. Miss Fey, I'm warning you. If this has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case. I have to remember the judge is on Dahlia's side. I better tread carefully. Your Honor, if you'll allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue with her testimony. Very well. Young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room? If it pleases Your Honor, the answer is simply this. I had come to this courthouse to do some research for a paper I was writing. A paper, huh? You're writing a paper? On what? On the relationship between modern Senryu poetry and the criminal underworld. Ho ho ho! That sounds like a fascinating research idea. Am I getting old? Now I've forgotten what I've forgotten. Again with the midlife crisis stuff? Mia, why'd that girl really come to this courthouse? Isn't that what you wanted to know? And speaking of forgetting things, you haven't forgotten the police report, have you? No, I haven't. I went through a lot of trouble to get it, my dear, so be sure to read it carefully. Yes, I know about it. You came to do research. Nope. Nope, I don't think so. Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a more important reason? What's the meaning of that cocky smile on your face, Miss Fey? 8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy. Another tragedy? Do you mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned? Oh good, the judge is slightly on the ball. Unusually enough. The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report. And that name is Dahlia Hawthorne. What? Dahlia Hawthorne? Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in a criminal case just 8 months ago. Order! 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 This is unbelievable! It's true, then. The loveliest rose can hide the cruelest thorn. Miss Fey, that's not fair! You can't slander my witness with an unrelated case! I, Winston Payne, will not allow it! Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking. Pardon me. Go right ahead. It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me. Expressed some interest, huh? Not, I don't think it was in that way, Judge. Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago. I see. Okay, I've tied the two crimes together. Now I've just got to stay on the offensive. Well done, Mia. Oh, you've really lit a fire in my heart and my buttocks. Please. Please, Grossberg. Good God. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids. Oh, God. I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that's lethal at just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that. So that's what happened here 8 months ago. However, as you heard from the witness testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne, but I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up its sleeve today. And I'll be sure to show them to you before the end of this cross-examination. What the? Why does the defense suddenly feel stronger? Ah, Mia, you're glowing with a true lawyer's aura, my dear. That proud posture and self-confidence, absolutely smashing. I met the lawyer to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. What were you talking about with the defense attorney? Well, I'm sorry, but that's confidential. According to the report, you are being interviewed regarding another case. The lawyer that was killed. He said he wanted to talk about an incident I was caught up when I was younger. Why don't you tell us all what that incident was? That has absolutely nothing at all to do with this case. Objection sustained. The defense's question is stricken from the record. You get involved in a lot of incidents, don't you, Miss Hawthorne? Well, I guess I was just born under a bad sign. Don't worry, Dolly, I'll protect you! You heard the man. Now that's true love, young lady. Oh, Feeny, please. Ugh. Those two are really making me ill, albeit for decidedly different reasons. Let me see for just a moment. That's when it happened. How long were you gone? I've already answered all these questions for the police. But if you must know, maybe 10 or 20 minutes? And where were you during this stretch of time? Using the toilet? What are you saying, Miss Faye? Toilet? My perfect little dolly doesn't poop! Oh, Phoenix. Phoenix. You heard the defendant, Miss Faye. Better luck next time. Oh, Feeny, please. The police have already looked into this whole matter. This line of questioning is nothing but a waste of the court's time. Objection sustained. Miss Hawthorne, please continue with your testimony. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that's lethal at just 2 teaspoons. About how much liquid is 2 teaspoons? Well, let me see. My bottle of eye drops says it's half a fluid ounce, which is equal to 3 teaspoons. About 2/3 that amount, huh? Like what would fit into a little, into a tiny bottle like this? The poison was found in the lawyer's mug of coffee. It must have been after I left the table. Someone must have quietly slipped it in there. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. A special kind of poison? How so? Well, I heard it's almost impossible to detect. Oh? And where would something like that come from? I'm sorry, all I know is what I overheard the policeman saying. They said something about using advanced chemical processes to purify it. Chemical processes? Well, that's quite impressive. Most impressive. The better question is, how did the criminal get something like that? I think I know. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know where to get a poison like that. And that's the reason they didn't arrest you. Because no one could show how you could have gotten the poison. I think that's a good enough reason, Madame Faye. She's right. And I think we've all had enough of Miss Faye's questions. So in essence, the main reason Miss Hawthorne was never arrested for this crime was because no one could show how she could have obtained the poison. Then all we have to do is find a way to establish how she could have gotten some, right? Great. Now, how did a literature student get a hold of poison, of all things? Maybe if you had an experienced pharmacologist make it for you. You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison? I don't believe you. What? In fact, you had easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab. Boyfriend? You mean the victim, Doug Swallow? That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Miss Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University. Pharmacology? His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could never have obtained such a rare and special poison. Well, Miss Hawthorne, seems you had access to such a poison after all. And then, it was a matter of slipping into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at his very table. You! Order! Order! Could it be? That's nothing but a baseless Hey, say something, Madame Faye? What is it, Miss Hawthorne? The amount of poison in the coffee was 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you would need some kind of container. Yes. Well, yes, that's true. I was searched immediately after the incident took place. Quite true. In fact, the entire courthouse was turned upside down. But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they? She's right. They even mentioned that in the report. Well, you could have easily gotten rid of something that small. Excuse me, madam, but this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw the poison container away, I think you need to show some kind of proof. Proof? Oh, she got me good with that. Provide some evidence, or I'll have to disallow this line of questioning, Miss Faye. Unless we can come up with some evidence, we're going to lose this lead. The police conducted a full-body search of Dahlia and the entire courthouse. And yet, the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred. If you're going to accuse the young lady of committing the murder, then where's the container the poison was carried in? What happened to it? You were forced to get rid of the container in a hurry, weren't you? That's why you passed it on to someone that had nothing to do with the case. Someone that you knew wouldn't be searched. Who is this person? Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course. So, the defendant was this witness's accomplice? Of course not. She gave the poison to him disguised as a present. What? But that's... that's a charming little necklace. Is this a little bottle? It's really quite cute. So what about it? What does it mean, Miss Faye? The day the witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago. August 27th, the very same day as the poisoning incident. Under the pretense of love, the witness gave my client a present. All for the purpose of hiding the one piece of evidence that would give her away. What? Are you saying there's a deadly poison in there? No, there's no longer any poison in that bottle. However, I'm certain if the crime lab were to analyze it, they would find a trace amount. Order in the court. Oh no. Phoenix, what are you doing? On behalf of Dolly, I object. Oh, Phoenix, come on. You're... Mr. Wright, control yourself. I won't let you bully her like this. Mr. Wright, I thought I told you to stay in your seat. Mr. Wright, why? Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her? Why? Because I'm madly in love with her. Oh, Phoenix. Madly in love? I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time. Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dahlia Hawthorne want to date you anyway? Oh, is that... Oh, is that a burn? Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me, too. Mr. Wright, please, open your eyes. At this point in the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real reason that Dahlia Hawthorne is dating you is... Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't and is not madly in love with you. The only thing she's after is that bottle necklace you love to wear around your neck. My necklace? Back there in the waiting room, you said it yourself. She kept asking for it back. Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now. A strange girl asking for a present back like that. For Dahlia Hawthorne, that necklace is irrefutable evidence of her crime. That's why she absolutely had to get it back. You're lying. But you never gave it back to her. And to make things worse for her, you insisted on showing it to everyone you met. That's why she... I don't believe you. No! That's a lie! Oh, shit. Mia, you're alright? The defendant, he's getting away! Bailiff, hurry! After him! Oh, shit, what happened? Mia, are you alright? Yes, I think so. That boy, he went completely insane. Where's Mr. Wright? It looks like the bailiff called him, so we should be back soon enough. Thank goodness. Oh no! What is it? The bottle necklace. Miss Hawthorne's present. It's gone. What? What happened to it? What? That's terrible! Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me. Foolish boy, that's the only thing that could have saved him. What in blazes are we supposed to do now? Shit. God damn it, Phoenix. Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court. I'm sorry. I'm afraid your apology's not enough. Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace? Forgive me, I'm sorry. It's okay, just give back the necklace. I ate... You ate it?! What the fuck?! Are you fucking serious? You know that thing... And that thing had poison in it, you dumbass! You what? You ate it? It was too big to swallow, so I had to chew it into little bits first, but yeah. Oh my god. I do not envy you when that comes back out. What the what is he doing now? Your Honor, you gotta stop the trial. Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt? That ball you swallowed may have had some poison left in it. Oh, what are you so smug about now? It seems the defendant has proven the prosecution's case for us. Clearly, that bottle did not contain a deadly poison. How can you be so sure? I think that's obvious. As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more like a fledgling defense attorney's overactive imagination. So it would seem. No, there must be some mistake. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency. Well, it has been 8 months. There, it's all right, rookie. Trusting your client's the most noble thing a defense attorney can do. And it's heartwarming to see you place this much faith in Mr. Wright. But that's how it is for us on the prosecution side, too. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. This is why I can state that your assessment of her is completely wrong. That's enough. Unfortunately, Miss Fay, I cannot accept your explanation of the events. But why? This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand, but in a court of law, evidence is everything. Even after I proved so much, is she gonna get away with everything? Well, now the suspicion surrounding Miss Hawthorne's been cleared up, I would like to proceed with the trial. Oh. Oh, now what, Nick? Mr. Wright! I'm sorry, Miss Fay. It totally slipped my mind. I'm really, really sorry. I know you believed in me, and I feel like I really let you down. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say? There's something I forgot to tell you. What is it? That day. The day I met Doug Swallow. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. It's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's going to be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Last night, someone stole some poison from our lab. Poison? The same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. Oh, this is some new development. She came to the lab that time, too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that! Is it true? Did he really say that? That's ridiculous. There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dolly was right there. She was crouched down next to him. What? And you're just telling us this now? She told me not to ever tell anyone about it, but I'm sorry, Dolly. Your Honor, the defendant is... Miss Faye, you tell them. Dolly didn't do it. She's innocent. So Dahlia stole poison 8 months ago too, huh? If you put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony, then there's only one possible conclusion. The defense believes that Ms. Dahlia Hawthorne stole some poison the night before she killed Doug Swallow. The night before? Naturally, her motive for stealing it was to kill someone. Okay. Now it's coming together. Miss Faye, if you're so certain of your theory, then let me ask you this. Mia, this is your last chance. Think carefully now. There's something she desperately wanted to get back. The necklace. Therefore, exactly who is Miss Dahlia Hawthorne planning to kill? She was gonna kill Phoenix. She was... There was one person that was standing squarely in Miss Dahlia Hawthorne's way. That person was Mr. Phoenix Wright. Me? That's preposterous! After all, it was Doug Swallow that was murdered. Well, it's true that that's how things worked out. But let's remember that Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poison. The person that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was, in fact, you, Phoenix Wright. There's no one else that it could be. But how can that be? I thought Mr. Wright and Miss Hawthorne were in love. Poor Mr. Wright. This must be killing him. Hang in there. I'll bring her to justice. I swear it. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to that incident 8 months ago. That's right. The bottle necklace. That's all she cared about. But even so, why? Why would she go so far as to murder him? 8 months ago, just after the fall of that attorney in the basement cafeteria, Dahlia Hawthorne could think of only one thing. How to get rid of the bottle necklace as quickly as possible. No, it can't be. It was a pretty good move she made, too. The evidence was missing for a long time. but there was just one big problem. Although she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. To him, the tiny little bottle was a cherished treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met. You mean, that's why she tried to kill Mr. Wright? It was me all along, Austin. Correct, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence. That can't be true! Oh, poor Phoenix. Feeny, what a joke you are. Oh. Is she gonna show her true self now? Honestly, how can any woman ever count on you for anything? I even told you time and time again to keep your trap shut about me and that necklace. You disgust me. Miss Hawthorne? It appears we're nearing the end of this trial. Fine, I can tell you plan on making me into a criminal no matter what I say. You are a criminal, Miss Hawthorne. We'll see about that. But first, where's your evidence? It seems your sniveling little crybaby of a client has eaten the bottle as a snack. Well... Hey, old man, are you senile or something? Why don't you say something instead of sitting there with that dumb look on your face? Miss Hawthorne? What's happened to you? Are you really that shocked? Yes, I do need to bring that clip back. You are right. Or do you prefer me this way, Mr. Judge? With absolutely no proof, you treat a voluntary witness like she's a mass murderer. Well, I have nothing more to say. I'll be heading home now if you don't mind. But we're not finished. Fine. Then ask this nasty old hag to finish up already. I can't let her get away this time. Stop, Mia. If you keep pushing without any evidence, you could pay the ultimate price as a lawyer. The ultimate price. You'd be forced to take off your attorney's badge forever, I'm afraid. No. You'd better think it over carefully, Miss Fay. Or should I say, Miss Gray? Well, Miss Fay, can you provide evidence that would establish her guilt once and for all? Can we? If I mess up here, my career as a lawyer is over. But to be honest, at this point, I don't have any evidence that's well-founded. Even so, I'd rather lose my attorney's badge and let her get away with murder. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof. Impossible. You can't possibly... Stupid woman. It's the opinion of the court that there's already been enough discussion. Therefore, I'll allow only one piece of evidence to be presented. Just one. Oh, shit. If you're unable to establish her guilt, then I'm afraid that a very harsh verdict will immediately be handed down on Mr. Wright. I understand, Your Honor. I can just imagine the headlines for tomorrow's paper. Up-and-coming lawyer plummets to earth before she gets the chance to soar. She was planning to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, the poison was probably in there. Gotcha. Yep. Well then, Miss Fay, please present your evidence. Show to this court irrefutable proof that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison Mr. Wright. She put it in his cold medicine. Here it is, Your Honor. The evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all. Cold Killer X. Phoenix Wright's beloved cold medicine. Does our rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold? If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned. What? Remember what the defendant said in his testimony. But I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime on the day of the accident. I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us. She was the one who took his bottle of Cold Killer X. Then she poisoned it, knowing Mr. Wright was going to take some. Now you're really grasping at straws. After all, it was the victim, Doug Swallow, that was holding the medicine. Yeah, as what Noble said, maybe, I'm thinking, she probably planted the bottle in his hands in order to implicate Phoenix. I'd like the court to recall the crime that happened here 8 months ago. Where did Miss Hawthorne hide the evidence? Huh? What are you talking about? 8 months ago, the poison was hidden in her bottle necklace, which she then gave to someone else for safekeeping. Someone she had accidentally run into in the reading room, Phoenix Wright. Yes, that's right, she did the same thing this time as well. After shoving the victim, Mr. Phoenix Wright left the scene of the crime. That's when the murderer, Dahlia Hawthorne, appeared. With her, she was carrying the poisoned bottle of Cold Killer X. This, of course, was so she could carry out her plan to murder Mr. Wright. I believe she did testify that she was going to meet with the defendant. Yes, and she heard and saw everything that happened at the scene of the crime, including what the defendant and the victim were arguing about and the cut electrical cable. That's when she realized, I can't allow Doug Swallow to live. She used the severed electrical cable to silence him forever. Unfortunately for her, this is when the problem occurred. Mr. Wright, who she thought left the scene, came back to check on the victim. And on top of that, because of the power outage, some students showed up as well. It's hardly any wonder that she was, as she put it, in a state of panic. Recall that she was carrying the bottle of poison cold medicine. She must have thought, what if they searched me like they did 8 months ago? 8 months ago? Yes, she disposed of the evidence exactly the same way she did back then. She had someone else hold it. In this case, Doug Swallow. Oh, come on now, everyone. Surely you aren't fooled, are you? This stupid woman, she's nothing but a filthy, stinking liar. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? Uh, yes, that's exactly right. It's just pure desperation. I wonder which one of us is the desperate one. So, Miss Hawthorne, this cold medicine, I wonder if you wouldn't mind taking some. Well, Mr. Wright ate that necklace of yours, right? Now it's your turn to prove your innocence. What do you say? If I'm just a filthy, stinking liar, there's no need to worry. So come on, show us! I dare you to take some of this medicine right now! Mia Fey. Mia. Oh, god damn! Do you think you've won? Well, do you, Mia Fey? Are we ready to meet the Junko and Ashima of this series? That's just fine. For the time being, victory is yours. For the time being. Well, I have a very long memory, you know. You and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. Well then, Mr. Judge, I'll see you later too, okay? Huh? Why? Yes. I'm gonna go spend a little quality time with the men in blue now. I wish you all the best. Well, I mean, back in the first game, it was Red White that killed Mia. So I guess we don't know just yet. It's finally all over. I refuse to accept this! The defense hasn't shown a scrap of evidence to support their outrageous claim. But even so, your witness seems to have accepted it. I don't care! I'm Winston Payne! And I don't believe one word this rookie lawyer has said. Well then, Mr. Payne, let me ask you this. Yes? Would you care to try this cold medicine? What? Just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said... You're there. It's alright, rookie. For example, I trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. So if she's so trustworthy, then I'm sure there couldn't possibly be any poison in here, right? You see, yeah. And here comes the backpedal. Come on now, rookie killer. Show this rookie how it's done. How much trust do you really have for this woman? Are you willing to bet your life? Owned. Mr. Payne? About Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Yes, Your Honor. I'll file papers for immediate arrest. And that's how he lost his hair. Tragic, but not surprising. I knew there was something suspicious about her from the very beginning. You did not! You were eating out of her hand just like Payne was. Don't lie, just admit you were wrong. By the way, Miss Fey? Yes, Your Honor? Was it just me, or did you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne seem to know each other? Yes, they did seem to. Does it have to do with the incident that occurred back then? Your Honor, whether we did or not has no bearing on this case. Very well. Mr. Payne? This can't be happening. It's a nightmare. It's like losing to my daughter. It appears Mr. Payne has lost his spirit along with his hair. Does the defendant have anything further to say? Can't be true. My dear Dolly. Very well, then. I believe I'm ready to pass judgment and bring this trial to an end. The court finds the defendant, Phoenix Wright, the court's adjourned. Whew, finally. Man, this trial was more involved than the first trial of the first two games. It wasn't such a short and sweet walk in the park, shall we say. Mia, you were wonderful in there. Thank you for everything, Mr. Grossberg. During the verdict, I thought my hemorrhoids were going to explode like Mount Vesuvius. Please, no more about that. Mr. Grossberg, do you maybe think you could stop talking about them? Oh, that's rather rude. Anyway, this case really made me think. What does it really mean to have a relationship of mutual trust with the client? Perhaps it's we veteran lawyers who've lost sight of this. Oh, Mr. Wright, congratulations. Thanks. You know, I was thinking. Go on. The dolly I saw up there on the witness stand, I don't think that was really her. What? Yeah, the dolly I know could never have said those kinds of terrible things. Maybe she was like, I don't know, a fake or something. Oh boy, this poor kid still hasn't got a clue. You need to forget about her, Mr. Wright, for your own sake. Yeah, you're right. It's probably for the best. Also, you need to relax a bit more. Try to grow up a little. But, out of all my friends, everyone says I'm the most grown up. What kind of company does this guy keep? Have you haven't met Larry Butts yet, have you? Right now, I'm studying to become a lawyer myself. That's what you keep saying. But I thought you were in the art department. Well, yeah, I am. But there's a friend that I desperately want to help. And if I hurry, I should be able to save him in time. I see. Say, Miss Faye, a lawyer is someone who can help people when they're in trouble, right? Mr. Wright, I'm still new at this myself. But I think that's exactly what a lawyer is. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'll study my butt off. I'll become a lawyer for sure. I hope. I hope we see each other again someday. Maybe even in court. It's been 5 years since I was acquitted of all charges. I became a lawyer like I planned, and managed to save my friend. But Mia's passed on to a better place. For me, this trial brings up a lot of painful memories. But it also brings up some very precious ones. And memories I thought would never rise to the surface again. Mia's gone now. But even so, I can hear her in my mind. Phoenix, no matter what, always believe in your client. In a court of law, your greatest weapon is your belief. 5 long years. Something's happened that made me think back to her words of wisdom. But That's a story for another day. All right. Chapter 1 is finished. I probably won't get to the trial, but give me a few minutes and we will at least break ground on Chapter 2. I'll see you in a few.